Welcome everyone. Today we'll have a very special Path of Exile guide. In this guide, we'll be exploring all parts of Path of Exile. So we start with the beginning parts of Path of Exile. I'll have categories of what the game is like, what stage of the game. You have the campaign, you have the story, what you should be looking out for those. And after that, when you get to the end game, there's a lot of things in the end game, what you should be looking out for. How does the game work with economy? How does the trading works with currencies? How does things come into the value? How do you trade? How do you balance the late game? How do you get gears? So many things in this game I want to touch upon. It's a little overwhelming for a new player for Path of Exile. For me, especially at the start, there was a lot of helpful friends that helped me start. So after the course of 10 days when I played Path of Exile, I really got deeper into the game, and I feel like there isn't a lot of availability of educational videos about this game. So the goal of this particular video series is to help new players or even existing players to get deeper into the game, to enjoy the game more, and to share tips and advices. Let's get right into the game now. So as for games, you can choose your gateway. You'll be logging into the game and you can choose which of the league you'll be starting. So let's create a character. I'll show you guys. There is a standard league, which you'll be going to the standard league with everyone from the league. So let me try to explain this again. There is a league system in this game. With Diablo, with Path of Exile, the league starts every 3 months for Path of Exile. And with this particular league, what you'll be doing is there will be special elements for this one. Currently we're in the Metamorph, and in about 7 days from this recording, we'll be going to the next league, which is a very fascinating league with lots of upgrades. The Double Mirror, what's that? The Darren? Oh gosh, I can't pronounce. So how does the league work? This particular Metamorph league is what you want to play because everyone starts from scratch. After 3 months, the player database from the league information will be transferred into standard league, and the next league will come out. And when this happens, all save files, all the storage, everything goes to the standard league, and this will repeat every 3 months. So you start fresh with Metamorph, and you can go with Hardcore Metamorph or Metamorph. And you can go self-founded, means you can't trade with other players. You can disable this later in the game, of course. If you play the Hardcore Metamorph league, and if you die, you'll become a standard character, which is also okay. But of course, your playstyle will be different. So likely most of us will pick a new league and will go into just the normal part of the league. There's no need to go too deep. There are 7 characters, and each of the characters can be kind of combined into a hybrid of another character, which I'll show you guys very soon. Each of those characters do specialize in something. There is the witch that can specialize in magic and also in summons. There is the duelist that's more agility based, that can be an assassin, it can be a ranger. There is the marauder that is more melee tank and AoE bruiser. There is also the templar that can be your paladin kind of playstyle. So a lot of different ones, which I'll show you guys with a fully leveled character. So let's go back. Let's go to my current character. This character is a character that is in the current league. So I can show you guys what's in this league and what's after that. So going to the character, if you press P, you open up to a very fascinating and overwhelming skill tree. Path of Exile is known for its skill tree, and it's very in-depth. What happens when you pick a character is if you start with a witch, you start on this section and you can perk your skills onwards as you level up. Yes, this game basically you have 2 choices. When you level up, you'll be getting 1 skill point, and there's also more skill points to be gained doing quests and getting rewards from different scenarios. There's also more perks when you actually complete a different scenario quest, which I'll explain very soon. So there's a quest which you got to pick a side. Depending on what side you pick, you get a special buff for attack speed, defensive, critical chance, or you can get 2 talent points. Because I start with a witch, I'll be starting over here. For other classes, if you get the marauder, I believe the marauder starts somewhere here with the melee class, and you can see there's 7 starting points. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right? I believe there's 7 starting points, and this is the 7 starting character. Depending where you start, you can perk onwards, and there are different kind of the talent tree, which we'll go through with a detailed talent tree. Right now, you just have to know if you do plan to play a character, make sure you get the right start because it will take you a while to path forward. Here, I path my witch down here for more life gain, and here I'll be going other places. With the new league, there's also a new system with the talent tree. You can expand the talent tree onto its borders. You can expand it even further, so this will get even more advanced as the new league comes. As a new character, you'll start at the start with a tutorial, and the best part about Path of Exile is you don't have to be repeating the same stories like 3 or 4 times. Back in Diablo, you have to do normal, hard, and hell mode. Then you have to do the the inferno mode, I believe, and then you keep grinding the same story. For Path of Exile, you will be facing at least 10 acts. So I'll show you guys here. Oh, where are my acts? There. Damn. Hotkeys. There you go. So the hotkey was you. So you have 10 acts. Act 1 to Act 5 will be the first part. Act 6 to Act 10 will be the second part. Although the maps are recycled, the stories, the bosses are different. Very fascinating, and there's an epilogue. And once you finish the epilogue, you go into the final part of the endgame for this game. Having different stories and most of the dialogue actually being read out, it's very good. And if you're interested in the stories are not bad here as well. Very fascinating. Even in the endgame, as you approach the endgame final boss, there's a lot of lore and lots of stories behind it as well. Now the next part is, as you progress in the endgame, you'll be going from Act 1 to Act 10, and this is how majority of the time you'll be leveling up. Most of the items you acquire during that time will be self-sufficient enough for you to pretty much gear enough to at least Act 7 and 8. If you have a good plan of building, you can go into the next act to even Act 10 or to the final endgame. So unlike most of the other games, Diablo or even Wilson, there is a special trading system with Path of Exile, which I'll show you guys. It does not have the normal currency of exchange, which is gold. What the game offers is it has a bunch of currency items which have special uses. It is again a little overwhelming like the talent tree there, but this is actually a very fascinating trade system which players interact with each other, and all the currency you're using here actually serves a purpose. It does not have gold, but the use of currency, notice the Scroll of Wisdom is a currency item. It identifies an item. I have items that's unidentified. I can use the scroll to identify it, and I can actually find what it is and what are the perks to it. And sometimes, of course, with action RPG games, those are randomized stats as well. After that is teleportation scroll that teleports us back to town. There's a lot of good scrolls, and there is some really good ones that gives you a different modifier that randoms things, and basically those currencies make up for the trading system of the game. Players will be requesting for different items. For example, I have a shop startup here, which will go through this as well. Here I'm requesting for 28 Chaos Orb, which is a special currency for this item. The players that want to buy this item will actually message me, and it's not shown here, but they will message me here, and once they message me, I can consider the trade. So the trading system will be a big focus for our guides, and yes, at the start it might feel a little overwhelming, but once you get deeper into it, it's actually pretty fun. Because not only you can use those currencies for trade, they also can be used to enhance the items. For example, the Orb of Alchemy can turn one of my items into a rare item, and items of course starts with normal, it goes into magical if it's blue, and then it goes to rare, and it also has uniques. Uniques are the orange kind of colored items, and those items will help you along the way as well. Now, there's a special part of this game I forgot to mention to you guys. Path of Exile is absolutely 100% free to play, and there's no pay to win environments, and there's no pay to win aspects. The only thing that you can purchase in the game will help you in the game is the basic trade tab, which costs I think $1.50, and this allows you to trade with other players. This allows you to sell items, but you don't have to have this because you can purchase items without having the trade tab. This just allows you to sell items effectively. After that, you can buy more tabs with more slots, and those will be quality of life, but this will not enhance any advantage of a player. There's also the currency tab, which makes it more easy to solve and have a crafting bench, but those are necessary. So this game is absolutely free to play. That's one of the best part of the game. If you try it out, there's no loss other than a bit of investment of time and just some discovery within the game. So as you can see, this first part of the guide will be pretty much overview of what's in the game. It's definitely interesting, and what I'll do is I'll touch a little more aspects, and after that the next series will focus each part of the game individually. So The second highlight of Path of Exile, or maybe the third highlight, the first highlight is definitely the skill tree, which we'll go through those. Look at this, I even corrupted the skill tree. So notice here it says block chance. If I take this gem off, this is a special gem, those goes back to intelligence. So I actually corrupted my skill tree so I get different skills, and also I get more shield. So it's a very fascinating one. We'll go through the talent tree for sure. The next highlight for Path of Exile is the ability to create your own. It's the ability to create your own spells. Here I can create spells depending on the links and the sockets. Each of the gems have different uses. They are passive gems, they are attack gems, they are support gems, they are summoning gems. So lots of gems can be used in sync and in relationship with each other. For example, I'm a skeleton summoning mage, and the biggest spell I have is going to be the summoning of the skeletons. Notice here I have the summoning of the skeletons. You can see lots of writings here, increased damage to actually maximum skeletons, etc. This is the base of the skill. What I'll be doing is I'll be adding a support gem that makes the skeletons hit harder, and I make another support gem that increases the summoning minion damage. The next one we have is again another support gem that increases physical damage. Next one we have is increase of attack speed and make them aggressive. After that, we have one that supports increase more physical damage. So the skeletons are actually summoned are very strong in terms of physical damage, and they are very deadly. So this is definitely a highlight of the game. We'll go through most of the skill choices and combinations, and sometimes you don't have to link things together. For example, this spell is just an aura spell. It gives me more shield, makes me more durable, and I don't have to link them together. I will be using my mana as reserve here. For example, I'll be using 30% of my current mana as reserve, and I gain more shield, which prevents me from dying. It's something defensive. A lot of other skills can be very fascinating. For example, this one, when you take enough damage, you actually automatically cast the spells that's linked to this gem. So I'll be automatically casting Desecrate and also Spirit Offering, which summons corpses, and I turn the corpses into armor and resistance for me. Very nice, right? And yes, there's the cast when damage, there's a lot of combinations. I can even combine offensive spells like the... where are they? This is the charge one. Yeah, I can also combine offensive spell like Shield Charge with faster attack support, and also with the combo of Fortify to make sure I, as a skeleton mage, I can be shield charging, I move really fast, and I also bump into enemies, I reduce damage taken, and I do charge faster because I have a fast attack spell. So very creative with the combination of spells. So this is definitely a highlight for the game. After that, there is another wonderful part of the game that is so intriguing for me and so fascinating. This will go even deeper. It is the crafting of items. You can see that there's a lot of the writings here. Some of the prefix, some of the affix, some of those modifiers for the items. You can see this particular staff have increased damage, increased minion skill gem level, increased minion attack speed, casting speed, and minion damage. As a skeleton summoning mage, this is not bad of an item. You can be crafting items. This is what come back to the currency. So you'll be having different rare items, usually craft on the rare ones, and you'll be crafting those. You can turn a normal item into a rare item. You can randomize the stats on it. You can add, you can subtract, you can randomize the values on the item, and also you can, I don't have any exalted orb. So the exalted orb here adds another attribute on the item if it has open slot. So there's a lot of combinations you can be doing with your items. And there's also, we can change a unique item, which is one of those ones, into the same class also as well. So there's some really rare unique items that sells for a lot. So the combination of your currency actually have a way to craft items. In return, those currency are valuable because of that. We can also corrupt items. So this is another fascinating part about crafting for the game. You can have an item and you can roll for some of the unique prefix on the item that's not easily gained unless you actually corrupt the item. Most items can be modified, and when you actually corrupt an item, it can no longer be modified, but it can get some really good stats. So when you corrupt an item, you can get 1/3 of the chance nothing happens, 1/3 of the chance something good happens, 1/3 of chance something bad happens, and you can change the item into something else. That goes another deeper level of crafting, which is very interesting. And As you can see in the game, we have some of the summary of the stats. Most of the characters will have 3 different stats, and each of the stats represent for something. Strength is always for HP and melee damage, intelligence for energy shield and mana, which is the blue part of my defensive, of my pretty much life here. I have 6,400 life and 2,700 shield. And lastly, the DX is for evasion and accuracy. There's a lot of things that goes deeper in the game. As you can see, there's a lot of stats here. There's defensive stats, there's the mystic stats. For me, I built a lot of the minion damage. There's also charges and different combos for different class. The options for this game is wonderfully large, and the next expansion that's going to come, not only you can update, not only you can craft items, you can now craft the sockets here. So notice there's a jewel socket. You can be inserting a jewel that expand the skill tree even further, and during those you can randomize, you can craft those sockets. So this is the fascinating part about joining the next league. Really interesting, and you can roll for the different stats, you can roll for different perks and different passives as you go. Now, because as a summary one, we did go a little longer, there can be even more parts for the game to come. In the end game, you can even craft maps. You have a map like this, and the map can say it's filtered with things, etc. I can show you guys a quick crafting of the map. So I can go to the map section, I can grab a map. Let's grab a higher tier map. For example, I can grab this one. Notice this is a tier 16 map. I can put this one for the crafting bench. I can increase the map quality. That means this higher drop rate, but monsters are stronger by 20%. After that, I can turn the map from the normal item into a rare item. So the map is actually getting crafted. There's a lot of things that debuffs me but makes the monster stronger, but increase the drop rate. I can also corrupt the map to get something good out of it. So now the map is unidentified and corrupted. I can't see what the map is about, but the monsters will have very strong modifiers or very random modifiers. They can rain fire, they can rain ice. So not only you can craft your items and later craft the skill gems and the passive gems, later it's going to be crafting the passive gems. We can't craft the skill gems because those are fixed. You can still craft the maps. The maps can make some extremely hard bosses. There can be monsters that reflect damage that kills you, which you need to find a better source of damage or you just can't fight them at all. For me, the reflect physical damage kills my minions, but I myself don't hit them, so I won't die. For the physical class, they can be killed by reflect damage. For the magical class, you can be killed by the reflect magical damage. There's so many combinations of things you can use here. And that's not all. The next part I want to share with you guys is in the endgame. So the last part I want to share with you guys is definitely going to be the endgame. The game is packed with elements and things you can play in the endgame. As you can see, there's lots of NPCs on my map. There's an NPC that gives you tower defense. Yes, you can randomly encounter this NPC, or you can start a map with her that goes in an entire map of tower defense. You get to craft towers, you fight against monsters. You personally can fight the tower monsters as well, but the towers help you as well. So for the tower defense, you can, you're like a champion, you're fighting the monsters. There's another NPC that spawns another map within a map. And this is like map inception. This is a very good endgame farming style for the most players because maps are valuable. And if you get the twice as much value as you can really farm for some really good endgame gears and even endgame maps. After that, the game gets so much deeper. June, the Beastmaster, is a crime detective. She's here to fight the immortal gang of monsters and dudes, and those dudes are immortal. And what you do is, as you randomly encounter them, you'll be presented with a choice of either to negotiate, to interrogate, and to do a lot of things. Let me see if I can show the investigation. There you go. She is basically a detective that allows you to solve the crime and find different source of the crime. And as you interrogate, bargain, and if you turn them against each other, what's going to happen is you're going to unlock different perks, and once you go further, you unlock the secret hideout. You're going to get lots of loot from that. And this itself is just a small part of the endgame. You'll be encountering those guys. You can forcefully encounter them if you speak to this master June, and you can have her in your maps as well in the endgame. And as you can see, I will be finding different dudes as I kill them, and if I torture them, if I negotiate with them, I get different points unlocked. After that, there's more masters to come. Neko, Master of the Deep, is even more fascinating. So I'm gonna go to his mine encampment. What's gonna happen is, this is an entire part of the game that can take the in-game like 10 times further. I haven't not go that deep into it. So basically, he's a master of the mines. You'll be finding sulfur, which is one of the minerals you can use. And once you find enough sulfur, you can drive this little car into the depth of the mine. As you go deeper into the mine, which I'll show you guys here. Where am I? Ooh, I need to double check it. It's gonna show us here. Yeah, as you go deeper into the mine, here I started the start, and you can see the level I'm currently at, which I don't think I'm that deep. I'm level 63. You can go deeper. As the deeper you go into the mine, you can actually perk yourself out to fight different section of the mine. You can go into the darkness, which will be a little intimidating at the start because they will cost you HP as you go in deeper. There's so many combinations with the mine. As you go deeper, you unlock better rewards that can be exchanged with players. You also unlock one of the best crafting materials in the game with the fossils. And because you be going deeper, here you can see I'm going for depth of 57, and it's not even high. People have gold depth 1,000, 2,000, 10,000 depth, and this is really strong, and you get some really good items here. Some people dedicate the entire gameplay for the 3 months into the mines, and they craft around it. They make their builds around it. So this is a very deep part of the game, and it is still a part of the endgame. There's so much more to go as well. Now that we're going for the endgame aspects of the game, oh, there's more of it as well. So next one, we're going to have our friend Avia, which is the Master Explorer. She goes back in time, allows you to solve a mystery of the temple. So what happens is, she open up portals that you go back in time. By defeating different monsters, you actually unlock different secrets of a pyramid. Once you defeat all 12 of the time gate, you actually unlock a pyramid. You go into the pyramid, and depending on how you design the pyramid, you can have the vault with chests for currencies. You can have a sacrificial thing that gives you sacrifice of unique items. So you can actually unlock and create your own pyramid, a dungeon that you can fight in, and depending on how you craft it, they can give you different items. And the fight for the pyramid will get even better because in the next update, this gets even more fascinating. So you'll be fighting pyramids with a time limit. We'll have guides for that. And basically, this is an entire new aspect of the game that you actually craft a dungeon for yourself and the rewards and loot for yourself. Next up, there's more guys to come. There is Eka the Beastmaster. So this turns the game into somewhat of a Pokemon game. What does that mean is, notice that he is the Beastmaster. There's a lot of different types of beasts, and if I go to the mercenary, this is where he keep all the beasts. I can actually use the monsters we capture in the wild to do different things. I can use those monsters for sacrifices here. You can summon the monsters, and once you summon monsters, they will give you special unique items, they give you upgrades of items, and they will give you quality gems. So basically, when you fight monsters in the wild while Eka is available, he will capture them for you, and you can later sacrifice them for different purpose. Some of those special monsters do sell for a lot, and you can trade with other players as well. You can sell your captured Pokemon or monster and trade with others. There's a league with that. I think people are calling it a Pokemon League as well. So this is just another aspect of the game for the endgame. And yeah, the Eka part is very fascinating because it's easy to do because you just have to fight monsters. Once you defeat them, you capture them, you come back here to do a part of the the combos. The monsters can make you stronger, give you a better item, even craft the potions. Here I have some potions. Some of the potions make me move faster, some of the potions give me better strength, which is really fun to play. And of course, there is another few of the NPCs that's also available in the endgame. Helena here is going to allow you to craft your whole hideout. I've seen really beautiful hideout with lots of decorations and lots of environment. For me, it's a very basic character, and I just had all of them standing here. Others have crafted very nicely. There's also the prophet. Basically, the prophet here have different prophets, and she will say you will do something and something will happen. And you can also seek prophecy with the silver coins you find. If I seek one, this will tell me I will encounter spirits in the temple and something will happen. And if I unlock one more, it will give me another one. So here I'll be enter map with additional rogue exiles. Those are monsters that will actually attack me, but they will drop nice loots. So there's a prophecy part of the game as well that is not too deep but very fascinating. Sometimes they give you double reward for things, sometimes it drops a lot of good items for you. And that's not all. You can go into the map system, and there is the map system. As you fight different maps, you start with tier 1 map for the endgame. As you fight further, you go up to tier 16 maps. Because you'll be fighting different maps, different boss will be spawning, and different boss will drop a key to fight the final boss. And depending on the final boss you fight, they also drop different final boss keys that allows you to fight different big boss. And those bosses drop some of the best items in the game, and some of the best gems in the game with the skill gems that will enhance your build even stronger. So the map looks a little intimidating at the start, but once you get into it, I'll make a few guides for it. It's much easier to understand and it's much easier to go. So notice here I have icons here. Those are the master icons. That means I can run the maps with the masters I described earlier, June the crime solver. Here we have Nico the miner. We have Avia the pyramid designer, and also Eka the Beastmaster. I'll have those guys, and Zena the map opener. We can have those and we can run those, actually get more benefit in the game. Yeah, it's a pretty in-depth guide. I think I touched most aspects of the game. There's a lot more things to do with crafting. You can put items in, you can give items different stats. There's a lot more things I want to touch up on. So what we're going to do after this video, the next few videos, we'll look at each part of the game separately. We'll look at the story mode, we'll look at what to do in the story mode, we'll look into the trading, we'll look at how you look for the trading, we'll look at currency, look at what currency you should be keeping for the end game, and even at your early games, what should you be looking at. We'll look at the ads with loot filters, we'll look at macros, things you can enhance the game for you. So, thank you again for watching, guys. This is a quite long version of the summary for Path of Exile, but I think there's so much I want to show you guys, there's so much I want to learn as well. The things I'll be showing you guys, I need to learn some of that as well. So we'll be learning together, we'll be preparing for the new league. I'm very excited for it. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time.